It's your compas coming at you, Gilberto Fernando. We're talking compas on the LA ba 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 Gilbert. There's there I don't think, and I've been around this team for over 10 years. I don't think I've ever seen a shakeup like this with the Chargers. Are you ready?
Go ahead.
Ronaldo Hill, defensive coordinator, leaves to join the Dolphins coaching staff. Then Joe Lombardi gets fired, so he goes and joins the Denver Broncos as the offensive coordinator. We'll get into that one in a second. And then not only that, they fire their head trainer. They bring in Kellen Moore from the Dallas Cowboys to be their OC. They bring in their quarterbacks coach as well. Obviously, there's rumors about who's going to be that. Derrick Ansley might be the next defensive coordinator. Nothing's official yet. The Chargers haven't announced anything, so we won't speculate on any of that. But Gilbert, is it something or nothing that there's so much turnover? New OC, new DC, and new head trainer for the Chargers in 2023?
It's definitely something, but I don't know in what direction this something is, because when you shake up your coaching staff that much, and keep in mind, Brandon Staley already fired his special teams coordinator from year one, his OC from year one, his DC from year one. I don't know about the firing with Ronaldo Hill, but parting ways there for like Ronaldo Hill. He's not a DC, right? In Miami,
No.
he took
No. He's a secondary and passing game coordinator.
That was a little fishy. And then you try to
That's an emotion.
Yeah, and then you try to promote Derrick Ansley, and then like there's interviews for the DC job. I'm like, what the heck is going on? I know maybe maybe he's not on the team, maybe it was on bad reporting there, and then the whole Damon Mitchell there. So before the whole Damon Mitchell, the head trainer leaving, I thought this is Tom Telesco, or maybe the ownership's telling Brandon Staley, you need to figure it out. It's not your fault, but you need to put the blame on somebody and shake up your coaching staff. And then the whole Damon Mitchell thing happened. I'm like, he's been there for like 20 something years. Maybe this is a way of Brandon Staley saying we need to change everything. I've tried it your way for 2 years. This is my last year to go all in. Let me go down swinging, because your injury history has been an issue. And maybe I'm nitpicking here, but we got to try something new. And Damon Mitchell, maybe you're a fine trainer, players of you, but at the end of the day, when you look at the results, there's just too many injuries. And yeah, people say you can't really prevent injuries. That's loser talk. You could figure out a way to somehow at least limit the damage. But that makes it feel like maybe the Telesco was saying fix your freaking coaching staff, and then Brandon Staley is saying, well, let me do something about the injuries, because enough is enough. When you don't have Joey Bosa, Derwin James, I forget. There's a lot of guys, right? Fernando, Rashawn Slater, and Keenan. There you go. Remember names. You got to do something different. So is it just, it feels like maybe here it is, Fernando. Tom Telesco, Brandon Staley, they both know they're tied at the hip. This is their last year to go down swinging together. And now they're going to just do whatever they can to shake it up and make it work. But there's just a lot of commotion, like you said, going on in Chargers land. So I am very intrigued to see what they say come the combine and see what you guys talk about from the LA beat.
It's crazy because it's been like since last March where the Chargers have kind of gained all the headlines. Ever since the Rams won the Super Bowl, it's like, okay, here you go. Chargers have had all the headlines, and they're the ones making like the weird moves and weird stuff's going on and everything. And it's like I'm telling you, like new OC, new DC, and hell, it worked for him last year with the special teams coach. I at the top of my head, I can't remember the guy's name right now, but Ryan. His name is Ryan. He's a good guy though. I spoke to him a couple of times when the Chargers would bring him down to us. He was able to turn them into a better special teams. What'd you say? Ryan Ficken. He was able to do well as a defensive or as a special teams coach. But now, by the way, how the hell do you apply for how do you like a head trainer? Like it has to be like a political thing. Like, believe in me, your players will not get hurt if you choose me.
I know, right?
I don't know how you can. What are you gonna have them do? I'm gonna have them do yoga. They're gonna stretch out there. Because remember, a lot of the big deal was too when Brandon Staley first came in. You and I and like Pop and everybody, we were mesmerized at the beginning of practice because they would spend activating. They would spend like 30 minutes and then they'd go another 30 minutes of proper stretching and everything. And you're like, oh wow, like so it is unique to see, but. I don't know if it's something or if it's nothing. I guess we'll see during the season, but I think it's what you're saying. Like, hey, let me try it my way. Let me go. If we're going to go down swinging, it's my turn to try and do it my way. So And the thing is, Telesco already has enough to deal with the cap situation because they're over $24 million. So that's going to be interesting to see the way they do that. But I don't know, man. And we just got to get into this Joe Lombardi thing real quick.
Let's do it.
What did you make of him being him getting, he basically like just paralleled over into the Denver Broncos job. Now he gets a quarterback, Russell Wilson. That team, obviously, their running back is coming back from a torn ACL. They don't know if he'll be back for the beginning of the season. Their receivers are kind of their offensive line is kind of So what did you make of all that?
Yeah, the first thing that went into my mind was like, I hope Lombardi's calling the plays for the Broncos. That would be Lombardi against Staley for 2 games next year, but I'm pretty sure Sean Payton calling the play, so that won't happen. So once you get past that, obviously, like I'm not too surprised. I think you called it too, Fernando. Like watch Lombardi end up with Sean Payton because they're good friends, and you called it. But it was like, okay, would he be OC again? But then if you're not really calling the plays, it's not a big deal. And then the more I think about it, like, you know what, it's a good job for him because I think Russell Wilson has entered the late stage of his career, Drew Brees era. And remember when everybody got frustrated, I forgot what you were saying was for the cars, for Justin Herbert. You're trying to do the whole Drew Brees thing of the little short passes, quick game, when you can't even throw downfield. You don't do that with Ferrari, right? That's what you said, Ferrari.
Yeah, Ferrari.
Russell Wilson's become now maybe it could be a reliable Camry, and that's okay too. But that system is hybrid, there you go, even better. Okay. But that system, that the Drew Brees late career era, it worked, right? They got to NFC title games. I know the whole thing with the Rams was a little push up there. They couldn't get over the hump, but it worked for that arm and that stage. And that might be the Russell Wilson era. We're like, okay, stop trying to be a hero. And it's funny because you hear other things about Sean Payton saying, you want to have the running game being a best friend for the quarterback. And Russell Wilson was complaining about, like, I want to cook, and now you can't cook. And you need to be hold back. Who does a good job of holding you back? There you go. Joe Lombardi does a good job of holding you back. So I think it could be a good little addition there. But it's funny, him going to the AFC West.
I can't wait to get our good friend Troy Rank on the show. We have to get him on at one point. I really want to hear about what's going on over there. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with the Denver Broncos, because I think they're one of the teams that is going to be interesting, because Sean Payton, it's like, he flirted with almost every team, but then it like, oh, he's going back to Fox, and then all of a sudden he takes the Broncos job. And then obviously, hey, we heard that Russ has his own office here and that he gets to do basically whatever he wants. So he's like, I wasn't privy to that. Things are going to change. And you're like, ooh, you're like, okay, this is going to be interesting to see what happens now with how he's going to run things when it comes to the Denver Broncos and what he's going to do there. But Gilbert, now moving over to the Rams. They decided to part ways with Bobby Wagner. Obviously, you loved covering Bobby Wagner this year. I feel like you learned a lot about the linebacker position, especially because it seemed like any game that was important to Bobby would make a huge play, interceptions, fumble recoveries, whatever he wanted. Now, obviously, this isn't a secret, but they've been we've seen it from Jalen since the season ended. He's been tweeting about it. Now he's being reportedly shot by the Rams. Obviously they need to clean clean cap space and to get out of it, but at what cost, Gilbert? I mean, and I guess I'll start it off first, but you're losing a lot of leadership on defense. And I know I don't know, and Gilbert, you probably know this better than I do. Aaron Donald, to me, I feel like he's a lead by example.
You're correct.
Not a lead by the words that he says. And I feel like Bobby Wagner is more of a lead with his words and stuff like that. And Jalen's more of a lead by example as well.
For sure.
But that's a lot of talent that you're losing. And I know that the cap space and cap situation and everything, but man, that to me is a lot of talent that you're going to lose. And I don't think they're done. I think they're still going to have to do a couple of more. They're going to jump through a couple of more hoops to have to get rid of guys. They don't have a first round draft pick. I believe they don't have a second one either.
They do.
Okay. So obviously, now it's just going to be a matter of how they're going to build the rest of the team. I don't know how good the Rams are going to be. And I know that there's been a lot of stories about how Sean McVay almost left and he decided to come back, bad taste in his mouth. I just don't know how good the Rams are going to be. I don't know how you can replace that talent. But if anything, I give the Rams a lot of credit. They've been very good at drafting in the later rounds than a lot of teams are. Like they get guys like Darius Williams. They get guys like, they just get a lot of guys that are really good players. And John Johnson III, they get guys that, and they just turn them into stars. So I feel like in that sense, they'll be able to do make some movements. But to clear that cap space, I mean, to let a guy like Bobby Wagner go. It's funny because Eric Williams tweeted out, because I think Adam Schefter tweeted out, oh, he wants to go to a contending team or a team that can win. And Eric goes, oh, the Dallas Cowboys. I was going to be like, Eric, come on, a realistic team that can win. But then I decided not to tweet that out. But I'm interested to see where Bobby Wagner goes. I could see him in a Chiefs uniform. I could see him in a lot of different places, but I'm definitely interested in him. The one that intrigues me is Jalen Ramsey, because they're not going to cut him. I think they're gonna try and trade his contract because excuse me, because he's gonna want that money. I don't know where he's gonna go. I've seen Miami, but then I'm like, but Miami has they're paying so many different Bradley Chubb, Xavier Howard, all these different guys. So I'm interested to see where Jalen Ramsey ultimately goes, but. What did you make of some of these moves?
Maybe the Raiders. How about that for a secondary help there?
So you want to send Lamar Jackson to the Raiders?
Yeah, why not?
That's $50 million. Then
Bobby
Wagner
while you're at
Ramsey.
it, too. And Bobby Wagner, why not?
And Bobby Wagner. There you go. So you want to give Mark Davis is already eating at In-N-Out by himself. Where do you want him to start going to? Like freaking McDonald's dollar menu?
Hey, credit to the new regime there, because they fixed up the salary cap. They're one of the top teams with a lot of space there. So they want to pay, they could do it. But yeah, Fernando, you're right on the whole leadership point. Like I actually forgot they're both team captains, so that's a lot of leadership that you have there. And then the other guys are Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp, Aaron Donald, and like you mentioned, Aaron Donald lead by example. So it's gonna be a new.
What's Matthew?
He's a team captain, but
no, but is he a lead by example, or is he more?
He's a little bit of both. He could be to himself, but I see him really chatty. So he's up and down, especially, but when he's with his wide receivers, he's pretty good. But the funny thing here, Fernando, this is where you get in trouble a lot when you talk about like people's contracts, cap space, and I'm like, okay, I just found out if you trade Jalen Ramsey, the pretty much the only relief you get for the Rams, because in the contract, if you trade somebody, it's gonna hurt you in some way, especially a player that caliber in that stage of their contract. Instead of being freed up $15 million for cap, it's going to be only $5 million. So it's not a lot, but it's something. And I think at this point, the Rams want to get draft picks. And if you got to fix Jalen Ramsey's contract, because he's pretty, I think he might not have any more guaranteed money, or he might be a little low. And you got to pay him at the same time, then that devalues what you could get in return. So it could be probably a third round pick. And if you're the Rams, when you're low on assets, might as well do it. Maybe you get a second round, maybe, I don't know. I don't see it. But yeah, and then you got to trade if you want to get some kind of pick back. He's probably the only guy on their roster that you get a high draft pick for. And then you probably gonna have to cut Leonard Floyd. That's another $3 million right there. I think from my word read. Wow. And you're down $15 million. Those are two key guys. And then also Bobby Wagner. I think those three right there get it done. Because I want to say Bobby Wagner also another $5 million. That's why I hate. So
Left Need now has F them picks and F them players.
Yeah, so that's the whole defense, Fernando. I don't know who's gonna play. You, me, Dan, and Victor. We're playing defense for the Rams, but if they want to get under the cap, the defense.
I'll stand behind Aaron Donald and I'll push him the way that they push the quarterback through, so I can get through him and then go up and try and get him.
Aaron Donald and a bunch of new guys. Let's see what they do. But but I still think Jalen Ramsey, Bobby Wagner, they could still play. And one more thing about Bobby Wagner, real quick, Fernando. The whole parting way thing, I hate that, because like either somebody said, I don't want to be with you anymore, or it's rare when it's mutual. But one thing Bobby Wagner is saying by saying, let me leave my hometown, is that you guys are not ready to win. I'm not trying to stay from the rebuild. That's for sure a fact there. Maybe the Rams could do something. You never know in the NFL. But right now on paper, they don't seem like a contender.
That's why I'm wondering, Aaron Donald, are you are you serious about staying, or are you now considering, like, you have to be considering
it's $40 million though. That's the thing.
And and the money, I mean, the money is going to be incredible, and I get it. But do you want to really put your body through that, especially if you know it's going to be another $5 and
$40 million for now? I'll take a winless season.
I would too. And the crazy part is he had never missed any games, and this year he missed games for the first time.
And don't say why. Do not say why.
No, I didn't. No. I'm just, I'm you know me, I'm a curious cat, so I definitely I love looking into that, and I'm interested to see. Obviously, Aaron Donald for that salary cap is going to come back, but I'm wondering if like any part of him is kind of like, number two, I want to see what Aaron Donald's going to do post NFL. He's one of those guys that I wonder if he's going to be like Marshawn Lynch, just poking his head into different projects and all that. Like that one where Marshawn Lynch is over there working guys out and everything. That video is definitely hilarious. But yeah, definitely a lot to get into there on Compas and the LA. Beat.